It is 7:34 p.m. This is our CC. Will you please call the roll?
Okay. Mr. Barker.
Here.
Mr. Goki.
Here.
Grant.
Here.
Ms. Tully.
Here.
And Mr. Ventura.
Here. Now I ask Tom O'Brien from American Legion Post 801, chaplain, to lead us in prayer, and then following us, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
With bowed heads, let us pray. Almighty God, hear our prayer as we gather this evening for our city council meeting. We ask for your guiding hands to aid our council members so they may work together on the various programs that are embraced by our community. Give our council members the transparency demanded by their constituency, and in return, allow the members of our community to show respect for their council members and our mayor so that they may perform their required duties. We ask the Almighty God that you shower your blessing on all our city employees who work tirelessly to ensure that their work at the council and mayor is carried out in a timely and professional manner. And lastly, God Almighty, we ask that you embrace those members of our community who may be suffering from mental or physical disabilities, as well as those who suffer from financial hardship. Cheer them and bring them the blessing of both health and happiness. Amen. And now please face the flag and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. First on our agenda tonight is the minutes from March 28th, 2019. Do I have a motion accepting those minutes?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted by the Clerk of Council for our regular meeting of March 28, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next up is...
Wait, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, we're going to put you on pause for just 1 second because we have a proclamation for Arbor Day.
Okay.
Now, you can continue if you'd like, but I'm going to go get the proclamation.
You can go to the financial report.
Do we have one? Because I don't see a date on there.
I don't either.
No,
I don't think we have
we
one.
don't have it.
Okay.
I don't think
There's
it
not a
comes out-
financial report, is there, Director Veras? No.
I don't think it comes out till tomorrow.
Okay. Can you sing?
You don't want that.
Let's do the public comments.
Great time.
All right, we'll move the public comments and let's come back to that. Oh, she's here, never mind.
Now, see, I'm adding a little interest here.
I think they should ask me to add it to the agenda.
Make a motion to add it to the agenda then.
Probably should.
I'll make a motion to add the proclamation to the agenda, for the Arbor Day to the agenda.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So this is a proclamation, and I'm going to read it, and it's not what I'm really good at, but bear with me here. Whereas a special day is set aside for the planting of trees, and this holiday, called Arbor Day, is observed in the city of Macedonia as well as throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whenever they are planted are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clear the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas I urge all citizens to support efforts to protect and nurture our trees and urban forests, not just for the beauty they provide, but for the benefits they give our residents and community. And whereas trees in the urban forest reduces the symptoms of ADD and ADHD and improves the concentration of school-age children, allowing them to perform better in school, make a better life choices, and therefore are valuable assets for our schools and educators teaching our next generation. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Nick Molnar, Mayor of the City of Macedonia, do hereby proclaim April 26th as Arbor Day in the City of Macedonia, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and our woodlands. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations, dated this 26th day of April 2019.
If you're interested in getting a tree to plant, you can come to our cleanup day on Saturday, 9 o'clock. The first 100 people get a free tree to plant for Arbor Day.
Thank you, Ms. Brandt.
I think that's fair.
Next up is public comments. We ask that you come to the podium here, state your name and address, and we ask everyone to keep it to 5 minutes or less. First on our sign-in here is Dr. Joe Clark.
My name is Dr. Joe Clark. I live at 423 Stephanie Circle in Wadsworth, Ohio, but I'm the superintendent of the Nordonia Schools. Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you very much for allowing me to come and speak to you today. I'm really here to thank you. I'm here to thank you because the relationship that the Nordonia Schools has built with the city of Macedonia, I think, is one we should be very proud of. I think we work hand in hand, and I know on behalf of the schools, we're so grateful for all of the services you provide us, especially in the form of your police force and your fire department, the service department, even the parks. They do so much for our schools, and we're very grateful for that. And I can't speak enough about the professionalism with which all of your employees interact with our school employees. So thank you very much for that. I'm also here to thank you because of your just incredibly courageous act of leadership in endorsing Issue 3, our school levy. You recognize that strong schools and strong communities go hand in hand. And because of that, you taking the stance to show the community that Issue 3 is the right thing to do is, I believe, going to make a big step in helping us get Issue 3 passed. It was really interesting to listen to you, Mr. Mayor, read the proclamation about Arbor Day, and you mentioned how trees can add value to this community. I would argue, I'm a big tree guy, and I planted 4 trees in my yard last year, but I think that even more than trees, it's going to be good schools that add value to the community. When people come into the community, the first question they ask is, how are the schools? The second question might be, how many trees do you have? And we know that when you have strong schools that you do have a strong community. And you talked about nurturing these trees and what we need to do. Well, every day, 3,600 students come to the Nordonia schools, and our kids compete with area kids. They compete with kids from Hudson and Twinsburg and Brecksville, and they compete for things like scholarships and college admissions and jobs. And when we can provide our students with the same kind of advantages that those other school districts provide their students, that's good for our community. We graduate students that are successful and ready to go to the workplace or ready to go to college so they can come back and serve our community. So we're very hopeful that the community does support Issue 3. We think that this is going to be a successful levy in no small part due to your endorsement. So thank you again on behalf of the schools. Thank you for the continued relationship we have and all the services you provide to us. And again, we just are incredibly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Appreciate that. Next up is Jim Kuhn.
Hi, I'm Jim Kuhn from 1152 Ledgeview Road, Macedonia, Ohio. My first question is the levy that was passed for the taxes that we get the refund on. How many years is that?
It was 2 years ago, correct?
When was it passed?
Right, the
It
one
was
that,
passed two,
Yeah, it was
it was
approximately
passed 2
2
years
years
ago,
ago.
but it took effect last year.
And how long is it?
Continuous.
There's no end to it.
There's no end.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing I talked to you about, and which I think is ridiculous, that, you know, the rebate is not passed, and that shouldn't be something that's passed every year, because you don't pass every year to continue to take it out of our pay and everything. And now it's 4 months later, and we're still don't have the thing passed to get the taxpayers back their money, their refund.
Well, as you and I discussed earlier, it's also in there, I believe it does state that, you know, there's a time period in there for us to process that, but just know, and what I was telling you was, we had a lapse with the finance director. So we did miss some things there, and we admit that. That's not, you know, something we're gonna try and hide. We now have a finance director back in place. He has addressed that issue. That's why it's on the legislation for tonight. By law, we still have to legislate to give those out. No matter what, every year we have to do that. That's part of the process that is not controlled by this council or anyone in the city of Macedonia. That's by law, we have to do that. So part of that was missed because we didn't have a finance director for an extended period of time. But now we know going forward that, you know, that's something we need to address, and I don't anticipate us having a turnover in that role like we had in the past. So we will be addressing that. It won't happen again.
That's something that should be put on the council agenda for the first year, every year, then, not 4 months later. No matter if you don't have a financial director or not, it should be already passed.
Well, keep in mind that our previous finance director resigned, I think, January 15th. We were 2 weeks into the new year, so.
By law, we have till the end of March to have a permanent budget in place. So, you know, we are late in putting the money into those funds, but we can't disperse money from a fund without money being allocated into the refund. So we passed a budget before the end of the year, but it didn't have dollars in it. We should have revisited it, but as the mayor stated, we lost the finance director, so.
To do so responsibly, you needed to wait till you had a new finance director on instead of guessing, I guess is the point.
Right. So did you want to have the finance director address what'll happen now if we pass this tonight?
Sure. Director Veras, you want to address this?
Sure. Checks are ready to go, and they're in batches, and they'll be printed tomorrow morning.
Provided we pass this, which I don't anticipate having. Let's be clear.
We'll see.
So the money is in the general, we just have to move it, so, because the auditors come and they want to make sure that where you put the money is all.
The money's in the
right-
bank account, it's
Right,
not in the right
yeah,
checking
So we don't have to
account.
pass it every year, but we do have to move funds from the general fund to that particular fund, so Mr. Veras can write out the check. So starting as early as next week, you'll start getting the refunds back.
He'll have this tomorrow.
So again, you shouldn't need a finance director in order to start the refund process, right?
Well, we started the process, but we actually needed a finance director to move the money through legislation.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Last on our list is Miss Karen Bartolozzi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Hi, 1377 Driftwood. I brought this up about 6-7 months ago. I'm gonna bring it up again because I saw something on Sunday that scared me. The speedway, people going 4 lanes over this time on Sunday afternoon, 12:45. So we let somebody in, so you go to like, no, went 3 over, the next lady did it too. I wanna know when the safety stuff is gonna go up, if you're gonna do it or not.
It's funny you bring this up. I'm glad you came today. And Sergeant Costello can attest to, that is on their detail to sit there and observe that as much as possible, but obviously we can't sit there at all times. I had reached out to Speedway, I believe in December of last year. They had come in, we had sat down. A few months had passed, they sent a proposal back to me that did not address the problem. They took their pork chop and made it like a foot wider, and I said, that's doing nothing. Our engineer got involved in it. The new pork chop, as they call it, that's what they call them, that little triangular shaped thing in the middle is gonna be extended out many feet, which is still gonna not stop people, but, you know, judging from what I talked about with our engineer, we think we're gonna cut that by at least 50 to 60%. We're never gonna stop it altogether. People know there's a sign there. We ticket people constantly. I can tell you, they come into this court and pay them. Some people even tried to fight them, but they don't win that. But we are addressing it. Speedway's gonna pay for that. There were some issues with Speedway and how we were gonna deal with that problem, but it is being addressed, and I got the email today with the new plan of how they're going to address it, and what we talked about is having that done by the end of Sunday.
My question still is, why don't you put posts in, like other cities do?
Because
They'll stop it.
when we had those before,
I know how they looked,
they look terrible, they collect debris.
but this is safety. And what I saw Sunday scared me more than anything else I've seen. When car goes 4 over, next car goes 3 over, and it's not a big deal, and nobody cares.
Right. I just didn't think that was the best way to go, and neither did our engineer, so that's why we're doing what we're doing. He had to leave. I know you're looking at John.
But you're sitting in a seat.
But you know,
see.
unfortunately,
What I'm
we
gonna tell
did
you,
have them.
is it, if this doesn't work, we may go back to that. We
I
have
don't
to at
like it
least try.
either, But I mean, you go to Medina on Pearl Road, who did all new stuff that looks perfect. They put it up so people don't do that into Staples because if they're in that lane, that's dangerous. So, I mean,
Well, keep in mind too that this was designed that way before the 271 on-ramp was done. So it was an unanticipated consequence of what had happened. But if you look at down the road by Jimmy John's, that doesn't happen at all. And that's exactly what we're trying to expand that one to be.
I've seen it at Jimmy John's.
I've never seen
I've
it
seen
there.
it at Jimmy
Oh,
John's.
yeah.
I've seen it, we've all seen it at Jimmy John's.
Well, I think it's less frequent. How about
It
that?
happened the other night.
And I don't want any safety issues, and I don't want to encourage anyone to do that, but
Well, if that doesn't work, I'll be back to ask for the posts.
Yeah.
at
Did you
that
see
time,
If the pork chop doesn't work, I'll be back to ask.
That's right.
Did you notice
just so you
that
know,
they-
they're investing, this is not a cheap thing. I mean, they're putting a significant amount of money into, to do this,
Haven't they asked you to put posts in too, so they don't spend money for that?
if we do that, we have to pay for that. And
I
then,
know
believe it or
that.
not, those things are awfully expensive.
I know, I'm just saying, it just scared me.
And people hit those too and turned into them, and
4
I don't
lanes
know
over
what.
on Sunday, not a big deal, next person does the same thing too.
The
Anyway,
ones they put in Streetsboro are not ugly, and that's why I brought that to you, because in Streetsboro, they put them in because people were making the left turn into Walmart and into Sonic and that. And I had brought that up to the mayor, and he said, no.
well,
I don't know if we
doesn't
need a
work,
bigger
I'll be back
sign.
to ask, because it's just, Sunday scared me, because it was like, I'm sitting there watching, oh, nice person letting somebody in. Oh, no, here, there, and in. Then I'll do the same thing. This person turned around, the other one actually went to the gas station. So,
Well, again, what we're doing
okay.
should disallow that a heck of a lot more. I'm not gonna guarantee it's gonna be a fix-all, but it's gonna be a heck of a lot better.
Gotta fix it.
All right,
Can we
appreciate that.
put-
It's good timing then.
Is there a bigger sign you can put for no left turn?
That sign gets hit weekly. We replace that sign weekly. That's why we were very aware of what's going on here. And believe me, when they hit it, we doubled it up. You're gonna know it. Your car's gonna feel it, so.
Okay, that's a turn. All right,
It's
thank
not what
you.
we want to have happen, believe me.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, moving on to pending or new legislation. First up is ordinance number 22.
I would like to offer ordinance number 22, 2019, for its third and final reading.
Second?
By-
An ordinance amending section 16115 of the codified ordinances of the City of Macedonia relative to education leave.
I would like to amend ordinance number 22, 2019, to add section G.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, I would like to offer and adopt ordinance 22, 2019, and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 22 passes. Ordinance 32.
Move to offer ordinance number 32, 2019 for second and third reading by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 114, 2018 relative to current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Macedonia for a period of January 1, 2019 to December 31st, 2019.
Mr. Ver, or Director Veras, can you speak to this ordinance before we move to the vote on it, please?
Yes, Mayor. Mainly, I wanted to add money to pay the tax refunds, but while I was doing that, I decided to clean it up a little bit and make it more reader-friendly. And there's really no increases. If you look at it in its totality, it was just moving money from different funds and creating a debt fund for payment of debt purposes. So that's all I have.
Any further discussion?
And just to answer Mr. Kuhn, this is the legislation that we're going to pass tonight that will get you your refund tomorrow. So if it passes, but I'm assuming that is there any discussion?
Are you still hand,
Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, are you still hand delivering the,
I am hand delivering Mr. Kuhn his check tomorrow.
I heard him say it.
I promised him I would, and I will do that.
Well, without further ado, I move to pass and post ordinance number 32, 2019 to the same according to
Second.
law.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 32 passes.
Oh, good
Ordinance
job.
33.
Mr. Mayor, I offer ordinance number 33 for 2019 for its first reading by title only.
An ordinance amending Chapter 797 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Macedonia relative to medical marijuana dispensaries.
Director Gaddetti, can you touch on why we have this here today?
Sure. Currently, there is a moratorium in place regarding medical marijuana dispensaries. The ordinance currently regulates cultivators and processors. This adds dispensaries to the licensing scheme that the city already has in place and proposes certain regulations that would apply to the dispensaries.
Thank you.
So this ends the moratorium?
No.
If it passed, it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to ordinance number 34.
No, that's not.
I'd like to offer ordinance 34, 2019 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending Section 92104 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Macedonia relative to water utilities.
So a brief explanation on this one, it's simply changing one word on there that Councilor Brandt had identified. There was a mistake, I guess, in the past. It says the annual water maintenance and emergency fee. It's actually called the annual water maintenance and expansion fund fee. So thank you for catching that, and we are addressing it with this one. What is your pleasure?
I move we pass and post ordinance 34, 2019 according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 34 passes. Ordinance 35, or resolution 35.
Mayor, I wish to offer resolution number 35, 2019 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution authorizing the city engineer to prepare plans, bids, and specifications, and further authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for the Valley View Road reconstruction project.
So this is the OPWC, the Ohio Public Works Commission. They're giving us a 90% loan at 0% for Valley View Road. We have been saving money to pay cash for that next year, but since we were, I guess, awarded this loan from them at 0%, it's hard to say no to that. We're gonna accept that hopefully tonight. It's $100,000 up front. It's $1 million project, and then from there on, it's $44,000 a year for 20 years. Again, we're trying to pay cash for all our roads, but this one makes sense because, again, we were saving money in our road fund for next year to address Valley View Road, but as anyone who's driven down that road knows, it's in dire need of repair, and we're gonna address it this year.
So let me ask you, I mean, you were saying it's $1 million project, it is whatever the bid comes back in. So it could be less than that amount, correct?
So the engineer puts out an estimate. Generally, they're pretty spot on.
Right.
He's estimating at about $1 million. So, I mean, I don't think he's ever been far off. He's usually been within $50,000.
Yeah, if the estimate comes back over that,
Then we go back out to bid. Because anytime they come over bid, it's something
It has to
not
be
jiving.
within 10%.
okay. But we're hoping that it comes under that.
Yeah. So every time he's done it, we've been under estimate. So they try to be pretty clear on that.
And this is the discussion part, because I know it's gonna make a lot of people down where I live very happy.
I drive it every day. It'll make me happy. Any other discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move to adopt resolution 35, 2019 and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 35 passes. Resolution 36.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer resolution number 36, 2019 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution authorizing the disposition of certain municipal property by the Service Department of the City of Macedonia in accordance with the City of Macedonia Codified Ordinance Section 12105 and Ohio Revised Code Section 72115.
So essentially, we're getting rid of some of our old equipment, cars, vehicles, police vehicles, and we're putting them out to auction. Director Nonavans, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Place your bids. This is going to be an online auction for some decommissioned police cars, one fire command vehicle, and the 95-foot aerial that has been decommissioned in preparation for receiving the new one.
And that should be in by June. Just so everyone knows, we have pulled our current one out of service. It is unsafe to operate, and we decided that it was in our best interest to not utilize that piece of equipment. So we have talked to some other communities that have aerials, so if we need them, they are aware that we may have that need. So we're thinking ahead. God forbid something happens, we have that ability.
So thank you again to the President, that's for passing that issue. I don't remember what the number was, but the last one.
So what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask we pass and post according to law resolution number 36, 2019, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 36 passes. Any other motions or legislative actions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we cancel the council meetings of June 27th, July 25th, and August 8th, and that would be identified as council summer break. By charter, we only have to meet once a month. We just meet twice a month, so we will still be in accordance with the charter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other motions or legislative actions? Hearing none, any correspondence from the clerk?
No, Your Honor.
We'll move into the mayor's report. This Saturday, April 13th, is Earth Day. We will be having something, and I don't know, Dr. Notavenge, if there's any other openings, if someone wanted to get in at this point to be a part of that?
It's open to just show up. First 100 participants get a T-shirt. Everyone else who comes in, we give gloves, pickers too, and we have 6 of our vehicles and trucks that will take you out throughout the city to help us pick up rubbish around the town and clean it up. It's good for high school kids too for service credit hours.
It's a nice event to help clean up. I know a lot of times our service workers go out and they've been cleaning up trash quite a bit, and it's something that really bothers me when someone takes a whole bag of trash and just tosses it on the side of the road, because I just can't swallow that. I never understood why someone would do that, but people do it. So it's a nice day for people in the community to give us a hand and help clean it up and take a little bit of pride in cleaning our town up, because I take a lot of pride in that, and I can tell you Director Notavenge and I have had many conversations. Our guys are doing that a lot more, cleaning things up and having a presentable community. When you drive into it, I want to have that always be that community that is nice and clean and presents itself in that manner. So baseball field updates, just so everyone knows, we've had a lot of talks with NHAA about our ball fields in Longwood Park and Sugar Bush. We've obviously put some investments in those fields. Unfortunately, Mother Nature has dictated to us that we're not going to be doing a whole lot right now. So we're waiting on the weather to dry up for a little bit to address the 3 fields at Longwood Park that still need to be redone. And once that happens, those fields will be completed, and we're going to have a very nice product for our kids to play on. And I know I'm very excited about it. I can tell you NHAA is very excited about it, and we're happy to have that partnership. So that's coming very soon. The lights on one of our fields should be completed by the end of next month, correct?
Yes, anticipated. April 22nd is the scheduled date of delivery for the poles and lights that are currently on barge being shipped over.
Yes, they're sitting on the ship right now. We hope they get here sooner than later. And, you know, I would always like to utilize steel that's within the United States, but unfortunately in this scenario that didn't work out. So we're waiting on that. The rec center renovation, we're still ongoing. As I said in the last meeting, we estimated that project to cost between $900,000 and $1.1 million. We did a lot of that work in-house, and to date we spent $650,000. I again ask for your patience. We're going to get there. The bathrooms we have currently are functioning. We don't have any issues right now, but when that's done, I promise you we're going to make a big deal out of that. We're going to have a ribbon cutting, and hopefully we can do that before we open it. I don't think that's very likely either, but when it's done, I promise you, I've been in there. It's very, very nice. I think people are going to take a lot of pride in what we did there, so it's coming very soon. I see you guys smiling over there, so you know. The Fun Fest, which is not called the Fun Fest anymore, it's called the Spirit of Macedonia Festival, is June 6th through the 9th. We have a lot of activities planned for that. I won't say too much about it because I'm sure Director Manley will be addressing that, but just know that that's coming. We'll be putting blasts out on our website and our social media to remind people of that, and we're pretty excited about this year. The fireworks display is going to be pretty awesome, so keep it tuned for that. The Veterans Memorial, we met with the veterans to talk about where we're at with the project at their park over there off of Route 82. We will be beginning the bathrooms that will be installed there. Brock Milstein donated $10,000 to put those bathrooms there. Again, we'll be doing that in-house as we go along. The veterans will be doing some work there this weekend to get that thing moving and, you know, progress the project further than where it's at today. And we're pretty hopeful that within the next couple of years that thing's totally complete. And I think there's a lot of headway. We've got a lot of donations coming through, and I'm pretty optimistic for that. So that's more to come. The gas tax, I'm sure you all have heard about that. Again, that's out of our hands. We don't have anything to do that, but I'm just gonna give you the update of to what the city of Macedonia receives and what we will be receiving in the future and what we're using that for. So currently, we receive $491,341. That will increase $307,000 to $798,541. The increase we will get this year is $128,000. Those dollars can be used for anything to do with our roadway, equipment, salt, anything we do with our roads. And as we talked about earlier, I could have $10 million right now in our coffers for roads, and it wouldn't be enough to address all the roads we still have. So every extra dollar we get is good for this. We're doing a lot more types of restoration of roads to prolong their life as opposed to doing a full depth restoration. So it's something that will help our cause, and I'm pretty hopeful that we'll start those collections soon to address more of our issues. One of the last things I want to talk about tonight, there's been a lot of talk about Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake has shut down. The person that was running that, I think, walked away from it, so the corporate took it over. They're in the process of redoing things in there, and that's where it stands today. So there's a lot of questions revolving around Steak and Shake. That's what it is. And that is the end of my report.
Can I ask you a question? I just noticed that BP on Highlands has shut down. Is there a lot of rumors swirl that there was something with the tanks underneath? Can you update anything going on with that building or anything underneath it that?
So that's all false.
That would prohibit anything else from going in there, I guess.
The thing about it is when a company or a business wants to leave town, they don't have to inform us. So a lot of times our building commissioner will call over there and say, what's going on? I mean, there's some other things going on right now at some other businesses, and we're gonna work through that, but there was no leaking tanks. It wasn't because they got robbed. A bunch of them had shut down. We were just one of the ones that shut down. I know that they're marketing that property for another gas station. I'd love to see a higher end restaurant there, and I've been working on that, but I can't really stick my hands into their property. I can only suggest, hey, we would love to see a nicer steakhouse or a seafood place or something like that. While you got me on that topic, there are some new restaurants coming to town. They're coming to Planning Commission next week. I won't say what they are, but I can tell you, you guys will be very happy. So
Come to the Planning Commission next week.
if you want to know, Julie, don't post anything yet.
I will be there.
Thank you. Great.
And to address your issue about can anybody go in there, they can. However, there are very strict restrictions when a gas station goes to get the tanks out and all the fuel refurbishing. I mean, it's a long, drawn-out process. And yes, it wasn't just that BP. I travel 77 quite a bit. There were a lot of BPs that they are staying by the freeway more so than extended. The one in Twinsburg's a great example. You never know when it's open, if it's open.
It's closed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's
Permanently?
closed, right?
It appears to be closed permanently, just like the one farther up on 82. That's at 82 and 480. But I understand that there's going to be, they've already made arrangements for competition for sheets, and I can't remember the exact name of the company that is planning on moving in there.
Well, a lot of this stems from our social media websites, and I can tell you, if you have a question and you want the real answer, you feel free to call any of our department heads. I'm sure they will talk to you. They will give you the answer that is correct, and it will not be one that's convoluted by what I call the thumb warriors. Nothing wrong with social media, but if you want the real answer, call the people that are, in charge of these things. So they will definitely let you know.
Mr. Mayor, what's the status of the cut-in on Route 8 for the crossings?
They were waiting for the asphalt plants to open, which are now opening. I think there was another legality, correct, Mark, that we were working through, but
Yeah, the cooperation agreement, and then we'll have the resolution of necessity before council.
Okay, because they haven't even started on
no, but
anything.
that will take place this year. That will be done.
Okay.
And Culver's, I believe, is still finishing up their work in the area, so.
They're done mid-May. Culver's is really good. Not good for you, but good food. Moving on to committee reports.
I have nothing.
I have nothing further than what we already have. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to department reports. Director Nanavich.
Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor had mentioned, and Councilwoman Brandt, our Earth Day / Arbor Day event is this Saturday the 13th from 9 to noon. We will be having a tree planting right here in front of City Hall. Registration for the event is at the old fire station here in front of City Hall, 9683 Valley View Road. I did misspeak. It is not the first 100 participants will get a shirt. Everyone gets a shirt, but the first 100 will get a seedling to take home with them and plant in their own yard if they like. Our dumpsters out front for household cleanup here. We have no hazardous waste be put in there, no chemicals. This is the second dumpster already. We've already filled one and have replaced with our second one already. So it's there for your use until the 15th, then they'll go away. That's all I have.
Thank you. Director Manley?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a very, very long list of upcoming programs in front of me. Instead of running through all of them, I would invite everybody to please visit our website, which is macrec.com. We have a lot of new programs planned for spring, and also a lot of our summer programming is available now as well. So please, please visit that. If you have any questions, feel free to direct them to myself or my staff. I will touch on a few key programs. Our citywide garage sale is scheduled for May 18th and 19th, so residents are encouraged to host their garage sales, yard sales at their homes. We will take care of the advertising to bring people into the community to visit homes and shop those sales. If you want to be added to a list listing your specific items, if you have items of interest to draw even more people to your address, we can do that for you just for a small fee of $5. Our summer day camp registration is open. That starts June 10th. We're getting a lot of calls, people looking for what our field trips are, what our pricing is. That is a 9-week program. You can sign up for individual weeks. That's for children ages 6 to 12. So if you're looking for a summer camp for your children, please check out our information and consider us. The Spirit of Macedonia Festival is scheduled June 6th through the 9th, as the mayor had mentioned. We have a lot of activities scheduled this year: live music, fireworks. We're having a craft brewery night, a Yappy Hour, which is going to be a pet-friendly event with pet vendors, rides, food, all kinds of exciting stuff. And we are receiving sponsorships at this point in time, so if you do own a business and you're interested in supporting that event, I encourage you to contact us as well. And last but not least, we are making some improvements to the interior of the rec center, so I ask for everybody's patience as we finish painting and updating the inside of the rec center, which has not been done in 20 years, or just shy of 20 years. So that work is being done at night, but people are going to be slightly inconvenienced by TVs being down, some things like that. So we're trying to get that all done and completed as quickly as possible, so we have the least amount of impact on our patrons. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Director Manley, I just want to put out there, because I use the rec center a minimum of 3 days a week, that the interior area now is very appealing. You walk through those doors and you notice every little change now, and it is very appealing. It is a nice place to be inside of, aside from the construction, but other than that, I mean, you pick up on it right away.
I concur. So I had a question. I noticed a sign that you guys were going to shut down the bathrooms every day from 1 to 1:30. Has that just been a problem that's ongoing, or is that going to be a continuous thing?
No, it's actually just a 10-minute time
Oh,
period.
wait,
It's
was
not
it?
30. Yeah, and
Okay.
that is so that the daytime cleaning steward can get into the opposite gender restroom.
Oh,
Because we have a female daytime steward.
that's why I was in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
She threw me out earlier in the week. I was running a little behind.
She's tough.
Yeah, she is.
That's good. 'Cause you get those questions pop up, random, so I like to have answers, so thank
Yeah.
you.
She's tough, but she is good.
She's very good.
She gets her stuff done, and it is clean.
Did you want to talk about the yoga thing for the festival? Or is that still a secret?
No, it's not a secret, but we
No,
will
not
be.
Well, now it's not.
Are you going to reveal the restaurants that are coming? I kid. But no, we are offering. We're going to have goat yoga during the morning hours of the festival. So in the area of the stage area where the grass and we have the elevated stage, we will be having several sessions of goat yoga that people are already looking to sign up for. So they will be bringing. Apparently, piglet yoga is a thing now, also this year. So there will be a few other animals there as well. So the kids can come, and it kind of doubles as a little petting zoo as well.
I'm sure you're all just as shocked as I am, because I don't know what the heck goat yoga is, but I thought it'd be funny to,
Sir,
You lay on the ground and the goat lady hops
Yes.
on ya.
not much
And
of a-
service doesn't have to mow as often.
Yeah, we have to clean
Not
up.
much of a yoga guy or a goat guy, but
And
we'll,
keep them
we'll
on
see
a
how that
part
goes.
time, Johnny.
Well, thank you. Director Veras?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to touch on the income tax refund. I want to thank Laura Welsh for putting all those batches together, and I personally reviewed each one and double-checked them, and they're ready to go. So thank you for passing the amendment to the appropriations and in my report.
Thank you. We have some new faces in our crowd tonight. Lieutenant Zelinski.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Really nothing new at the fire department. You kind of already went over everything. The big thing is waiting for the aerial to come in, and Chief Ripley and a couple of the guys are right now in Indianapolis at the conference where the Macedonia ladder is being displayed.
And I saw a few of the pictures, and that's pretty nice. Pretty excited to have it here. I can't wait for that. We're going to have a big deal with that one, too, so more to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another new guy, Sergeant Costello.
Thank you. Yes, we don't have anything to report. I was a late pinch hit. I was told at 7 o'clock to come over here, so we have nothing to report.
So just so everyone knows, the chief had a family emergency, that's why he's not here. But do you want to touch on, or can you touch on, because I know you have explicit knowledge of the issue at Speedway and the fact that you guys do have that on your detail?
Well, yes, we do. It's on our house check or extra detail. It's every officer takes 15 to 20 minutes and sits up there at Speedway. Being there's only 3 to 4 officers on a shift, it usually only covers about an hour throughout the day if we have time to get up there, but we are doing it every day.
So we're trying.
Yes.
Do
Doing what
you
we can.
give those people a reading test?
Everyone I've ever stopped says the sign was too long, I didn't see it till I was already turning.
Yeah.
They
And that's-
missed the double yellow line too,
Yes.
right?
That's their excuse when I've stopped them.
Well, thank you. Director Gaddetti.
No report, sir.
Do we have any unfinished business?
I'd like to thank Director Veras for his diligence in handling the issue with the refunds. We know it's a situation that there's confusion sometimes with the residents of, can I get it, how do I get it? It is on the website. If you don't have capability to get to our website, please call the city and they'll make sure that you get the forms. And I really want to say thank you because, you know, it was due to your bringing up the issue 2 weeks ago that we have the due diligence right away. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we do appreciate hearing those things, because obviously sometimes we may not notice, and you bringing that here helped us a lot, so thank you for that.
So I'm sorry, I do want to apologize that we probably should have had this done beginning of the year. It didn't, but it's done now. And I also wanted to thank the service department. They're righting the wrong in my development. There was a couple of plow trucks that made little quick corners, and they were out the first nice day, and I got a lot of calls from my neighborhood, and they all thanked, and I always extended a thank to you, so I do appreciate it, John.
They did your neighborhood?
We're coming there. Lake Forest was done, Firestone, Spring Hill, we are moving into the birdies as well. We have a list that we are going through.
All right.
We'll be done.
Okay.
Swear. Promise.
Any new business? Hearing none, do I have a motion to?
I have a motion to retreat into executive session for potential litigation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we're gonna go. Oh, I'm
roll
sorry.
call, sir.
This is our CC, that's why.
Oh, that's
Love
right,
you.
we need a roll call.
Can you do a roll call, please?
I will. Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. Bilkey,
Yes.
Ms. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Tully,
Yes.
and Mr. Ventura.
Yes.
So we are gonna go into executive session. It's a private meeting that we do in the side room, and when we come out, we will be adjourning. So if you care to wait, you're welcome to, but we're not gonna be addressing any other business when we come out. Thank you.
Angela.
Just so you guys know, like you said, like with like community cleanup